Good morning. Fucking around with settings as usual. Hello. This is an impromptu stream. I just want to check the sound levels and do a little bit of audio-visual stuff, but I also just saw some funny shit today. The shit that you wake up to. You go to bed. Things are normal. Well, relatively normal. Somewhat okay. Then you go to bed. The Americans get up. The UK feeds some shit. Americans feed some shit. And all of a sudden, I live in a dictatorship. It's pretty funny. Considering, that's not the case. Anyway, so I thought that I'd roast a little bit. Hopefully my settings aren't too bad. Tell me if it's bad and I can, I'll listen back to it anyway, but it's just, it's good to just work with it. Whatever. Fucking whatever. So, according to if you listen, this is a really good example of why you shouldn't fucking listen to Twitter. It's obvious disinformation. Now, why that is, it's a mystery, What exactly the motivations are? Well, let's see. Okay. But there's an article at the moment doing the rounds, a story, which is horrific, None of this, don't take any of this as me at all advocating for this stuff. I'm going to defend the people. I'm not going to defend the action, as I usually do. Now, I grew up, one thing people don't know is that I spent a lot of my life in rural Australia, Western Australia, I come from a mining family, on my mum's side. So I didn't live with my mum, but I did spend some time with her, I grew up, in and out of rural Western Australia, I've driven across Australia on my own, I live in the most isolated city in the world, in Perth. I also, like I said, I spent a whole bunch of time. I've, bussed up and down. Like my mum used to live in the northwest, I've been on a big part of my childhood was going up and down the Greyhound bus in the West Coast, Now, rural New South Wales, rural Queensland, rural Western Australia, Alice Springs, Northern Territory, rural South Australia, the inside parts of Australia, the bulk of it, is extremely isolated. Now, when I was a graduate, I lived in Esperance, That's an isolated town in Western Australia. It's a beautiful, beautiful city, At the time, I think there was about, don't quote me, 12,000 people. Could have checked, didn't. It's a side point. But that's a major regional centre, So if you want to understand Australia, you need to get a sense of proportion, about what it is like in rural. So you got rural Western Australia, rural Jura, or remote Australia, Very fucking different things. And this is where people who come from America particularly, or the UK, the UK particularly in Europe, because everything's 45 minutes away. You can't unless you've been to Australia and driven across, right? I was born here and I had no concept of the breadth of this country and the extraordinary isolation that exists in this country until I drove across it, Takes 4 days, Two days if you really leg it and don't sleep much to drive from Perth to Sydney, Took me 5 days. And I took it easy. But my point is, you can go like hours and hours and hours, without seeing so much as another person, another car, especially if you're not on a main road, There is a fuel stop in the sort of easternmost stop of Western Australia, which is Norseman, Then you've got Norseman and then you've got Seduna, It's fucking 8 hours between towns, When I lived in Esperance, when I was a child protection worker, okay, a little bit of geography to start off with so that you understand what you're dealing with. Okay. It was 4 hours drive to between major regional centres. Okay. 4 hours. In between that, okay, you had things like a few small bumfuck towns with a few small bumfuck houses, okay. A general store if they're lucky, but usually it's like a roadhouse and you would drive into town for groceries, okay. That's normal. That's Australian life. People can't understand. Like when my mum, right, her house, not that far from Perth, 3 hours from Perth, okay, Dongara in Western Australia. The nearest regional centre is Geraldton. It's an hour to go get groceries, unless you want to deal with a shitty, small general store. I have to contextualise this stuff, right? Let me just bring up the chats and stuff because I want to check that. But, right, this is something that of scale that people really just outside of Australia and even inside of Australia, if you haven't left the cities and the only thing that you've done to see Australia is fucking plain hop, you have no concept of the distance and the lack of resources. Like I remember when I was driving across the country and there was that last stop that I was talking about with Norseman, right? You have to have a full tank of fuel, okay? You make sure you have water because if you break down, there is a good chance that you will dehydrate, okay? There is a good chance that you might die, okay? I was so anal. I had checked my tires like so many times, made sure I had a spare. I had fucking 12 litres of water in the car, okay? This is the reality of the situation of where we live. Now, the town that everyone's fucking going off about. You know, I said that town of 12,000 people that was 4 hours from the nearest fucking town that had one supermarket, okay? Didn't have a McDonald's, okay? It had one takeaway place, a bakery. It was tourism focused, so there were a couple more restaurants that were open during tourist season. But this is for you to understand what's available in a major regional centre, okay, in Australia, okay, particularly Western Australia, but also, you know, that remote New South Wales, you need to understand that, okay. Hours without seeing anything. The town where these dogs were shot is a quarter of the size of Esperance, okay, which had one supermarket. It's the local council, okay, so I would imagine that it would cover a large amount of land. I didn't check the numbers, but I would imagine that that's how our councils are set up, is usually they cover large amounts of land because most of our electorates and boundaries are defined by population, right? That's because you vote according to your seat and it's just distributed according to population. So again, I'm imagining that their local government's the same. Covers a large part of land, okay? They have 30 beds in their hospital. They have 4,000 people in the town. I think 10 to 12% of them are Indigenous, okay? That's got nothing to do with it. I'm just giving you a sense of, you know, like of what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a country fucking town that's tiny. Now, if you have a pandemic, okay. Now, again, I'm not at all suggesting that it's not horrific. But I am suggesting that maybe you're colonising cunts that don't understand Australia. I'm going to suggest that. All right. That's one thing I'm going to suggest, which is that imposing UK or US or Canadian or anyone else's fucking worldview on a country where it's fucking crazy to live here. Okay? It's fucking hot. It is dry. There are long stretches of road between fucking tiny things where provisions are at best limited. At the best of times, it's hard to get fresh produce to most of these places. Okay. Now, I'm not defending it. I'm explaining it, and I'm trying to fucking... Why the fuck people are taking a small story in the grand scheme of things, again, a horrific one, okay? Absolutely, I don't agree with it. But it's largely Australian, for a start, which is that remote Australia, again, they haven't really commented. All I know is that, you know, they had to make a decision. They missed it. They interpreted the law. There's no fucking resources. They maybe have picked up the phone, okay? They could have maybe gotten clarification. But when you're in that environment in a small town, okay, with miners and farmers, okay, it is pretty normal to have a gun and shotgun. It's pretty normal. Dare I suggest it's pretty normal to shoot an animal that is suffering, or, you know, people have a different relationship with animals in the country, especially remote Australia, okay? They hunt kangaroos. Americans fucking hate that shit too, okay? I'm not defending that either. I don't know, okay? It's not about the action. It's about the fucking imposition and this culture making every fucking stupid thing fit some bullshit narrative that is just, it's just wrong, okay, first of all. It's this imposition. I'm just, you know, it's one thing from all of our TV to be fucking American or UK dominated, okay? Australian local content is fucking running out, okay? There's some good stuff, yes, okay, but it's not, we don't have the market. Most of even famous working festival comedians and famous working musicians still have a fucking job because the market is small. Unless you crack overseas, you need to understand how sparse we are, how concentrated in the cities we are, okay, and how, you know, even a large portion of Australians have not been to rural and remote Australia in any meaningful way. I'm going to defend fucking rural Australia. Go fuck yourselves. Okay? Fucking hard life. Groceries are limited. Okay? The town, apparently, I did a little bit of reading last night about the town, okay, because I was curious. Mining town got fucking devastated by unemployment. So every time, whenever the mines close, they're all fucking devastated with unemployment because the whole town is built around mining. If you, I'm trying to give you a similar. So let's think about like Detroit. What happened with the you know, with the Ford Motor Factory, okay, in the US, okay, built that whole town around the manufacture of cars, okay, build the whole town around a factory or some one thing, okay. A lot of Australian towns, especially rural Australian towns, okay, are built around one thing. Now, what we've seen is through COVID, everyone preaching fucking empathy, but the second someone has to make a hard fucking decision or a complicated one, out come the pitchforks. Fuck that. Okay? It's hard on the land. Again, not defending it. But I'm not in a position to, I'm just going to go ahead and assume, okay, that it was a difficult fucking decision, that it was hard to do, because I'm not a fucking asshole. I'm not a city yuppie fucking gentrified thinking fuckwit that spends all their time on Twitter and no time in the real world and doesn't understand that life fucking sucks. Okay? Now, I'm not, again, I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm not making claims. I'm just saying that there's they're not commenting. Okay? There's a story that happened. There's an outrage that's happened. Okay? And I'll get to that in a minute. That's the funny part. But, okay, I know what life is like in that area. They got 30 hospital beds, okay, and 4,000 people. If COVID wiped through that town, they'd be fucked. They don't have ventilators. They don't have ICU. Okay, this is the reality of what we're dealing with. Okay, I'm not saying it again. I'm not saying it to defend it. But I'm saying that in extraordinary times, things Like, for all you fucks who masturbate over zombie movies and fucking extreme circumstances and war movies and fucking people pushed to their limit and Survivor and all those fucking things. The second that there's a small fucking town who's trying to make an impossible fucking decision, okay, and I'm not saying that I advocate for it's like they had to, again, I'm not fuck off. You know what I mean? This is what real empathy is about, okay? Empathy is about getting out of your own feelings and your own attitudes and your own judgments and being able to sit with somebody else and go, okay, how did you get here? You sit with them. You remove your own judgments and you sit with them and you understand their point of view. And now what I see as a buttload of Americans making judgments as usual. Again, I know, I'm not saying it's not terrible. I'm not saying it's not terrible. I'm saying that everything's a bit fucking terrible right now. And it's not something that you can easily extrapolate to Australia as a nation. Okay? Again, there's a difference between rural and remote. There is a difference between rural and remote and the cities. Okay? There's a difference between the major cities like Sydney and Melbourne. Okay? And between Perth and Brisbane. Okay? And Darwin and Adelaide and those sorts of places. It's a fucking amazing, rich, diverse, crazy, awesome fucking country. We trust our government mostly. Most of this mistrust that is coming from you fucks. All you culture wars fucking disinformation fuckheads that have put it in people's heads because people are generally not politically literate. Okay? I'm pretty sure that there's a large portion of Australians who think that there's a First Amendment because that's their exposure. They don't understand these things. That's a fact. It's not an elitist view. It's just a fact. It's data. Data's wonderful, isn't it? I'll give you some of that. This is my, like, when you take something like that, again, it's just so shitty to do that. What is being done in the name of politics right now is fucking disgraceful. Okay, I left politics because this is what it does to your soul. I left politics because, you know why? Bad people are in politics. Because only the people who have high degrees of sort of sociopathy and narcissism and psychopathy and those sorts of traits, right, are able to sit and make these decisions, okay? And that's the fact. I wouldn't want to be a fucking politician right now. Fuck that shit. I can barely handle fucking Twitter. But my point is with this, okay, because we'll have some fun. But I just needed to rant a little bit first because I'm so sick of minor fucking things that have a reasonable fucking answer being blown out of proportion, taken out of context, and used and co-opted to create some bullshit fucking narrative that is false. And America and the UK are in no fucking position to be commenting on anybody else when it comes to how they've handled COVID. Shut the fuck up. I don't talk about COVID generally because I just don't, it's just, it's just something that simmers along in the background. It's not something that I have a necessary interest in. Things have played out precisely as I expected they would. But there are people that I know who are deliberately stoking the flames, claiming that Australia is authoritarian, which is nonsense, so that they can push their own bullshit culture wars, anti-woke fucking brand, get a few extra fucking patrons. Go fuck yourselves. I'd rather have 0 patrons and not be part of any of this shit. You're just lying, and you know you're lying because I know you watch my shit, and I know you follow me, and I know you see what I say, and I see you selectively ignoring stuff and selectively paying attention to stuff. You know what the truth is, and you're being dishonest. That's a grifter. Now, I'm not saying that it's a good thing at all by any stretch. Okay. But I'm also saying that it's got 30 beds for humans in hospital. Okay. They were on regional restrictions, which means that they couldn't cross the border. They couldn't take care of the dogs. They couldn't home the dogs. They had to stay at home. Look at you all pure and shit, judging everybody. When there's limited supplies, limited fucking food, limited fresh produce, okay? All of the mine sites shut down, causing everybody to be unemployed. All right? That's the reality of Australia. Again, I'm not defending the act, but I'm not sitting in my fucking ivory tower in a perfect world. I'm sitting in a world that is fucked. And everyone is experiencing trauma, and everyone is unloading their bullshit trauma on everyone else. But I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people unloading their own trauma on everyone else. I'm sick of everyone unloading it on, unloading their own, like, radicalized bullshit diversionary politics on everybody else, using my discipline as a fucking weapon, both tech and politics. I'm sick of people ignoring the obvious and clear mental health crisis that is causing all of this, that's making people vulnerable to conspiracy theories. And, you know, I can't believe that there are journalists who are paid to do this. I mean, I can believe it because obviously that's what they do for a living. But I can't believe that there are Australian media people using the US and internet culture wars to fuck us up and make the problem worse. Fuck Sky News. It's not true. Now let's get to the funny part. Let's get to the part where we laugh at people freaking out, shall we? You can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. It's just bullshit. They just share bullshit. It's like, okay, well, I haven't shot any dogs lately, but how about you? I understand why that might have occurred because I'm not a fuckhead who makes assumptions based on my own values. I take the time to understand what may have actually occurred. Okay? Not a fuckhead most of the time. I'm good faith. I'm not bad faith. I'm not trying to spin any particular narrative. I'm just trying to keep everyone fucking sane. And I'm failing. Because no one fucking listens anyway. Everyone's too busy just listening to shit that affirms their bullshit conspiracy lies. Okay? We live in a pretty decent social democracy. Well, we did live in a pretty decent social democracy. Okay? We live in a liberal democracy. Not what Americans would call social democracy, but they're not your words, okay? These are European definitions for these things. I'm doing a bit on definitions next week. They've changed all the fucking words. No wonder we're all confused. Where was I? Forgot where I was. Oh, yeah. So we had a pretty robust social democracy, okay? Up until the fucking Reaganomics and, you know, Reagan and Thatcher, and we floated our currency, and we're at the mercy of global forces like every economy is. Okay, but our most right-wing parties are still probably to the left of the US Democrats. Okay, so calm your fucking tits. Our Prime Minister's called Scott. I don't know any fascist that would ever be called fucking Scott Morrison or Gladys. I don't know. It just doesn't strike me as a fucking authoritarian name. Scott Morrison, okay, is an evangelical Christian. Okay, he's incompetent. Okay, I wouldn't have this gig anyway. I think that, but I would say that he's largely, I don't think that anybody who believes that Jesus will come and fix shit should be in charge of fixing things like a pandemic, because evangelical Christians want Jesus Christ to come down and fucking save us all. That's not good for people, because that fucks up your ability to do policy. Okay, so I have a lot of grievances with the Prime Minister. Our Prime Minister is fucking anti-lockdown, dumb fucks. It was up to the state premiers. We live in I'll show you some of the tweets, but they're funny. But it's like, look at this, fucking the Republic of China. No, constitutional monarchy, federation, with a Prime Minister who's largely fucking fucked this up. Okay, I mean, there's no way to not fuck this up, really, but fucked it up more than you could imagine. But under pressure from the states, because we are a federation. Okay, Americans will know what a federation is. No, they won't, because they don't even know how their own government works, let alone ours. Okay, which is that the state premiers went, nope, this is our gig. Fuck you. You can't tell us. And the state went, nah, we're going to do our own thing. We have state powers under the Constitution. We get to determine, what this is. Okay. And states have largely done things in their own way. Okay. So first of all, Australia has 6 states and 2 territories. Okay. The 2 territories are under the authority of the federal government. We have 6 independent states. Okay. Our premier is probably more powerful in our state than our Prime Minister. Okay. First up, I live in Western Australia under Mark McGowan. Okay. Now, I've been exposed to Mark several times, so I believe he's a good person, so I trust him. Public trust is at an all-time high. Okay, even if you look at the research, okay, even if you just look at the psych research, okay, on public trust and the impact on radicalisation and how public trust is the determining factor. We largely trust our government, okay? And even when we don't really fully trust them, we're not anti-government, okay? And the fucking gall of Americans to just fucking hell. I keep thinking of that Michael Moore documentary from Bowling for Columbine. Remember that animation is like on the culture of fear. Remember that book? I don't know if you've read it, but Barry Glassner, Culture of Fear. Fucking great book. But he breaks this down. He was interviewed by Michael Moore in Bowling for Columbine, and there was that animation about them being afraid of everything, afraid of each other. It's like they just don't know what it's like to not live in fear of their own fucking shadow. Okay? Because they're the ones who live in fascism. That's what I find really funny about Americans. And I'm not slagging off America. I say this out of concern. No Americans watch me anymore, I don't think. But I'm saying, right, the irony is that America is always going around telling everyone else about all their fucking human rights and free speech and how they're doing everything wrong and how they're a fucking dictator. It's like, you know what? Fucking talk about Darvo country. I know you are, but what am I? Fuck me. And the UK, well, that's been bollocksed as well. But again, different factors, different cultures. Also largely driven by the bullshit disinformation that's on the internet. That's downwind from the US culture wars. Okay. And that's why I get fucking fed up with this shit. Okay, one thing that we know about Australian politics is that there's usually about, okay, here's a fun thing to talk about. Protest votes. Okay, now, protest vote, one block of about 10 to 12% of people every election, okay, they vote for some reactionary or some, party. They're swinging voters. Actually, no, you've got your protest voters and then you've got another 10% sort of swinging voters who go between two major parties, okay? So you've got roughly sort of 30%. I know I'm being simplistic, but, nationwide and historically, on average, all these things, you would have, you've got two major parties, okay, both of which are pretty much to the left of every party in the United States other than, in Democrats and Republicans, okay? Even our Conservative Party is left of fucking Democrats, okay? I mean, that obviously, there's factions, but I'm just saying, right, generally speaking, that's why I always laugh at all these fucking idiots on Twitter who are like, ScoMo the fascist, vote Hillary. Is like, have you looked at their policies? I think you'll find. Anyway, so anyway, that's what you need to understand about Australia. But you've also got that 10% of protest vote who are fucking racist, rural, right, ignorant. Okay, they vote for something like One Nation or, various other places. It's their protest vote. They turn up, they vote against the fucking things they hate. Okay, and they feel good and they get their snag and their sausage and then they, sue over slipping on onions and then they leave. Okay. And then 10% of the vote, and then they're in the upper house and sort of, people have got that balance of power. Then you've got the Greens and you've got, some minor parties and micro parties and that sort of stuff. But you need to understand that Australia is extremely diverse, first of all, a federation. Okay. So our Premier has pretty much kept us at zero COVID, give or take. Okay. If you look at the numbers, give or take for most of this time. Now that could change. But we don't need masks. Okay. We haven't needed masks except for when we've had a couple of cases and then we've put masks on and I grumble about fucking masks and moan and fucking, because I hate them because I'm claustrophobic and I just don't leave the house. But, but for the most part, we haven't really had to endure that because our Premier's on the fucking ball and he locks us down. We go for 3 days and then we've got freedom to completely, it's like freedom and security trade-off all the time. And in this case, it's like, well, it's necessary. Okay, now, New South Wales is different and Victoria because they're more densely populated. Okay, now, Sydney is a lot more apartments, a lot more tourists, a lot more in and out, a lot more diversity, a lot of, family coming, going, that sort of stuff. Now, WA is quieter. Again, there's so many different factors. Now, we've got a Premier that is widely respected and loved and we go, yep, on your mark, go for it. You did it well. He had a lawsuit with Clive Palmer, who's an Australian billionaire. And they took the proceeds and gave everyone a $600 electricity credit from a lawsuit. And they got some mining royalties and shit. And they were fighting that in court. This is the government that we live with, okay? The fascist government that makes us not go in the sun for 2 days. Oh no. Again, I know I'm being simplistic. I'm not minimizing the cost of lockdown, okay? I'm saying that in terms of support when lockdown happens, our government's been pretty good, okay? For the most part. You can't help you can't help everybody. It's pretty hard. You can if you're a fucking socialist state, but under this system it's very difficult to do. But people have been generally pretty good. But New South Wales is a major city. It's like, Sydney, London, New York, Paris, it's a major city. Okay, so it behaves differently to the rest of the country. Then you've got Melbourne, which is another minor city compared to Sydney. They're not going to like that very much. But, okay, I'm joking. I'm just fucking with Melbourne. Okay. But Melbourne's densely populated as well. Okay, it's another major city. But the peripheral cities, the small cities have done pretty well with lockdowns, regional lockdowns, all that sort of stuff. Now, regional lockdowns work really well here because we're spread out. So if you lock the barrier down, you contain it and it's over before you, again, I'm not a person who talks about this stuff. I'm not I understand that there are many shades of grey with this thing, and I just wanted to explain a little bit about how Australia works in case people are interested, because nobody really takes the time to understand these things. They just expect people to go fuck and read and be politically literate off the bat. No. Okay, so now, knowing that we're a federation, all right, knowing that you've got basically 6 presidents of 6 very small countries trying to negotiate with, I'm going to use a bad example, but you've got that in the US, but in the UK, imagine that you're trying to get through the EU for everything because EU hold the purse strings, okay? So WA pays the federal government, and the federal government has certain powers, very limited ones under our constitution, one of which is if it's international or there's a treaty or, various other things, okay, that or international obligations that they have power. But the thing that you got to understand about the way Australia is structured is that it's not top down, okay? Especially in Western Australia, man. We've been trying to leave you cunts for fucking ages. I'll talk about that some other time. But it's not top down, okay? It's bottom up. So we've got state government, and the Commonwealth government is a federation of individual states. Okay, we're a blend of the UK. So we've got the bicameral parliament. So we've got the lower house and upper house. Okay, we are governed by common law. Okay, we're also a constitutional monarchy, but we are like the United States. We've got a federation. So we're kind of that. They call it the Westminster system. Okay, politics 101. Didn't intend for this to be a civics class, but fuck it, we're here. So basically, that's what happens. Now, so to turn around, so now I think you understand why I feel the need to talk about this, because for a journalist who lives here, who obviously has never fucking left Melbourne or Sydney for a start, okay, and fucking Sky News and all those people, right? They're fucking city people. They don't know. And this is another cultural thing in Australia, which is that a large reason why you've got a lot of micro parties and protest vote is because you've got rural weighting in politics, and because it's basically because obviously in electoral okay. So I didn't intend to explain this, so let me just filter my thoughts. Let me just do it. So you've got, obviously, it's very heavily biased towards the cities, much like in the United States, where it's, California and New York are the two sort of and Texas and those major states. But then you've got your Midwest and your rural, you sort of inner mid states that have, they're more sparse. They've got fewer people. They've got different needs. They're rural. They vote differently, a different demographic, right? We've got the same thing here, but what we've got is a sort of rural weighting. So the Senate rural people get more of a vote than, on balance, get more of a vote. It's not per population. It's not proportionate, right? So Victoria and New South Wales are the two major big cities. Okay. And then you've got WA. We get more of a vote because we've got fewer population, but everyone gets 6 senators, and it's just it's a series of checks and balances. Boring, I know. I'll move on. But so to turn around and then go, oh, what's wrong with Australia? It's like, well, no, because it's obvious what's happened here with these protests, which is that it's exactly what I said would happen 2 years ago or 3 years ago, or fucking, how long have I been doing this for? Over 2 years ago. Some of my early videos, I said World War III will not be fought with bombs. It will be fought with fucking radicalized tribes on every street corner. Okay. Now we're seeing that sort of start to unfold. Now, as the bad guys start A/B testing these things and get like more sophisticated, they're able to more carefully target and radicalize people and get them on the streets. This is known. Okay. The more time people are spending on Facebook, the more fucking crazy they're going. Okay. These lockdown protests are a manifestation of that stuff. They don't represent the vast majority of Australian culture. We're not sitting here being authoritarians. We're just fucking not fuckwits. Like the one thing, like with Mark, our premier, he's basically like, just don't be a dickhead. Okay, that's the thing that Australians intuitively, largely, okay, unless you've fucking had your brain rotted by too much Facebook, okay, and too much fucking conspiracy shit, is that we muck in, okay, we muck in. That's one of those things that Australians do. Now, to muck in just means that you roll up your sleeves, okay, and you do your part. You do what's necessary. It's not about compliance. I mean, yes, they've been using the word compliance and the police. Now, I'm not going to dismiss some of this chilling police stuff and that's a problem, yes. But it's nowhere near like authoritarian at this point. It's just New South Wales police. They're more authoritarian than most other police departments in that state. Like I lived in New South Wales, fucking cameras everywhere, police everywhere. It doesn't surprise me, right? But hi Matthew, thank you. But so look, so generalizing about Australia and turning it into this, which is just not something we think about. And the journalists who are saying this, who are Australian, know fucking better. They know better. They're bad actors. They know that this is not who we are, and they know this. So anyway, I'm going to fucking flick to something because this fucking trending thing cracked me the fuck up. It really did. It's like, what is it? What was, hang on. Australia has, what was it? Australia has fallen. That's what the name of the stream, Taya. Good job. Hang on. Let's have a look. Oh, I laughed. So look, Australia has fallen. Let's look at some fucking hot takes, shall we? Hang on, let me move this. So here we go. Nah. Fuck it. Okay. Australia has fallen. Oh, hang on. I know why. Hang on. Let's do it this way. That's better. Okay. This guy fucking made me laugh. It's time to stop these Covidian lunatics and tyrants masquerading as political leaders and public health officials. They've already exhausted their legitimacy. They're now occupiers bent on abusing the population. They all need to go. Now, what I see happening here is that there's a little known story that happened last week, which is that some guys got caught trying to overthrow the Australian government, which is pretty funny. Like, I'm surprised we can be fucked. I'm surprised we can be arsed trying to do that. But it was just funny. So anyway, I'm just saying, don't trust these things. Is that there's a whole bunch of like targeted disinformation, okay? And I'm using the word correctly, not as a fucking gaslighting tool, actual bullshit. Okay, so if you read some books about sort of network propaganda and disinformation in terms of like, my research area, it can be used and abused. But they do differentiate between disinformation, misinformation, and bullshit. This is bullshit. Okay. It's designed to incite. Okay. Now, these crazy fucks. Australia, the truck drivers of Australia are planning to shut down the country in order to bring down the dictators. They're telling you to stock up on food for a couple of weeks. This fucking, see what there's like, they've just lost their fucking head. Okay. This isn't true. Look, and this is funny, like the Monopoly Australia edition. That was pretty funny. Go to jail. Yeah, the convict jokes are funny. We'll get to that. But look at this. Hang on. This guy on the ground. Rebel News, people. Okay. I'm just saying, check your sources. Okay. They've got a narrative that they need to spin, and it is one that is in Canada and the United States that doesn't apply here. Okay. Now, yes, I don't agree with this. This is something I don't agree with. Bad take. Okay. Now, this made me laugh because everyone started flooding it with cute animals and shit. Here we go. This one, UK and US right-wing conspiracy accounts talking about Australia has fallen. Australia. Have a sook, cunt. Andy. That's the one that was like, he's the Prime Minister, right? Australia is shooting dogs gassing citizens and shooting them with rubber bullets. Yeah, you know what? We're shooting, the one council that I talked about from a remote town in a pretty fucking bad situation, isolated, shot some dogs. Okay. This is what happens when you just start sewing bullshit together. Or things that are true. This is interesting about, like, look at this narrative, okay? It's like, this is not related to this. They're not related in any way, okay? Other than COVID. And the people that want you to fucking believe this shit, okay, are the people that want you out on the streets because they want to fucking fuck with you. Okay? Jesus Christ. I love it how someone was on at me. It was just obvious spot. Do you know what's interesting is when you enter these conversations, see how many troll farms there are flinging insults, okay? That's when you know that there's a political imperative to astroturf a movement. That's what's happening here, okay? It's astroturfing. Because I said something, I made a joke, and someone was like, it was obvious troll farm account. And it's just like, it's obvious. Okay, now, so Australia is shooting dogs, gassing citizens. No, they threw pepper spray, okay, because there was fucking unruly behaviour. That's, again, I don't agree with that action. But if you look at, they were an unruly crowd that was escalating into violence. The police have a mandate to clear that stuff. Again, I'm not defending it. I don't believe in a militarised police, but I also understand shit's complicated. And it's not normal. It's not usual. It's out of character. And shooting them with rubber bullets. Well, let's get to this. Where's the great take? Where was it? Hang on. Was there someone who said, where's the genius who said, hang on. So all these cute. This isn't about COVID. It's about submission. Amber Smith, USA. See, look at all the political imperatives here, right? They don't fucking know. They haven't been here. They don't know. They don't know fuck all about us. Where are we? It's this one. Australia. So what I did was I read that as like, so they're shooting dogs, shooting rubber bullets, and gassing people. This is what happens when you don't have guns. Yeah, well, what they shoot you with, you fucking idiot. These fucking idiots, man. We are the laughing stock of the world. No, you are. For your bad take. Oh my God. This is real Nazi-like political cult/movement. This guy with his hot take. Independent geopolitical analyst, everybody. Fierce critic of mainstream media propaganda while sharing propaganda. Fuck me. It's fucking brilliant. This made me laugh. Look, Australia has fallen to the emus. They've been planning this for years. Evacuations are on. There's more fucking emus here than there are in the town that shot the dogs. Okay? Where are we? Okay. Anyway, this was the brilliant takes. Okay. Now, again, there's a lot to be said about, use of police force. Separate argument. It's almost like they're separate arguments and that someone is bullshitting in order to manufacture a narrative that suits the US interests. Okay? That suits people being fucking afraid all the time, scared of everything all the time, and stupid! Fucking stupid! Stop being so fucking stupid! For fuck's sake. Anyway. So, but most of this, if you look at most of it, it's bots and shit and fucking political propaganda. Look at this. Talk about hyperbolic bullshit. It's like, no, it's just evidence-based fucking practice. And you live in a country that doesn't understand that there is a trade-off between security and your brain's fried. You've melted. Fuck! I don't blame the people who are sharing this stuff and falling for it and turning up the protests because I just see the poor mental health, and people need to grieve and lash out and all that stuff. Who I do fucking blame is Sky News and fucking Rita Pahani, who knows better. She knows what our country is. And she stokes the flames of the culture wars for her own fucking personal gain. People who stoke these things for their own personal gain, when faced with a choice between sharing absolute bullshit, okay, with grains of truth, okay, something that happened, and another thing that happened, and another thing that happened across a massive country of federation, okay? Jesus fucking Christ. You know? Anyway, I'm going to show you a funny video. But anyway, I'll stop sharing this. But what made me, I started thinking about this, right? Made me laugh. Because there was this part of me, and I tweeted this morning, and I said, did Hitler or Stalin shit themselves at a McDonald's? For fuck's sake. Calm the fuck down. Jesus. Being fucking stupid. I don't give a shit anymore. Stop being stupid. I don't have anything else to say other than stop being fucking stupid. And stop being a fuckwit. Okay, where are we? Now, I want to have a tyrant called Gladys. Sounds funny. It'd be funny. Fascist called Scott. The guy's incompetent. He's fucking incompetent. Also, Pfizer vaccine. I'm not saying vaccine, but I'm pro-vaccine. Okay. It's been peer reviewed. It's cleared. Calm your tits, everyone. That said, I was a little concerned. Someone suggested nanoparticles. I'm afraid of nanoparticles because I have worked in tech for so long. There's a small part of me that's like, fuck me. It's possible, but nah. They're not going to get me. They're not breaking me. I will not be broken. Where are we? So now I'm going to show you this at length. It's worth watching at length. This is like the lolcow of this fucking hashtag. I feel for the guy because you can tell that either, I don't know whether they genuinely believe it or they're fucking, you know that thing where you can't tell if someone's just fucking lost their mind and their fucking final synapses snapped, or they're just really good actors. And that's what I can't tell. But you can't come up with satire as good as some of this shit, the serious stuff. I'm going to show you this, all right? It is fucking the most marvelous thing I've ever seen.
Thank you for choosing the Next News Network. I'm Gary Franchi. I want to say my heart goes out to all of our Australian viewers who are enduring an absolute breakdown of the nation under the draconian new COVID measures, restoring the colonial prison colony status of your nation. Before I get into the details, if you're new here, hit the red button down below to subscribe and then tap that notification bell when you do. Now, the fact is, Australia appears to be reverting back to its foundation as a prison colony due to harsh new COVID lockdown measures, COVID camps currently under construction. Julia Conradson from the Gateway Pundit reports in late 2019, before the coronavirus was known to the world, very few, if any, people could have ever imagined a civilized Western nation would be building facilities that government thugs would be forcing citizens into against their will. Well, a year and a half later, and that's exactly where we are. It didn't take long in 1938 Germany either. The government of Australia will be building what they call a mandatory quarantine accommodation, which is set to open its first phase in early 2022. Let me repeat, early 2022. So,
all right, so just pause there for a minute. So these facilities, so basically, if you don't know the history, it's like, well, we're using hotel quarantine, okay? Now, this is something that people who've never left the country or are fuckwits, okay, don't know, which is that if you're unvaccinated and you come to Australia, you have to do 2-week quarantine for any illness. It's not just COVID. It's routine, okay? It's how we keep ourselves safe. Fun fact, if you haven't had your fucking shots and you come here, they make you quarantine.
Looks like COVID.
I'd love to hear what Americans have to say about the fact that we can't take fruit from state to state.
Will not be going away anytime soon. Take a look at this nice posh accommodation. Looks like they've even got Netflix. Isn't that nice? They write that this will be the second of such facilities in the country, and when it is finished, it will be able to hold up to $3,000 in isolation as they quarantine. As if it was straight out of Orwell's 1984, the camp will be
This is a fucking drinking game. This is a drinking game between Nazis and Orwell.
Are calling the experimental jab the golden ticket to freedom. Meanwhile, in Melbourne, due to the city's escalating CV cases, people are now required to abide by a new curfew running from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Every single day. Playgrounds, basketball courts, state parks, and exercise equipment will be closed. Oh, no. They state here, this is one tweet from Globus Vigilante. They've gone so far as to bar children from playgrounds in the 2 hours they are permitted outside their prison homes. They've resorted to any ruthless tactics so long as the public submit to their plans. They say
it's better than hotel accommodation, which ventilation is poor, and we've had breakouts.
Plus dependence if they cannot be left at home. Large projects in the construction sector are reduced to 25% capacity, and smaller projects will have a maximum of 5 workers. Essential workers will also require a permit to be authorized to work. Fines will apply to workers who do not carry their permit. Also, get this, masks are no longer able to be removed to consume alcohol outdoors. You heard me correctly. Listen.
Okay, now
there will be.
That's normal. Okay, now for those who I can't even consume alcohol that dies. Yeah, because it's a complex and they can't. Again, sharing drinks. There's lots of, and it's a risk thing. It's a policy. For fuck's sake, it's like this is reasonable shit. Now, on the vaccine, workers' vaccine. I talked to my husband about this because he works for a major corporation, and basically, it was he basically is like, well, and I looked this up. The only mandated vaccines, okay, are that if you're a healthcare worker or a quarantine worker, which is fucking reasonable. It's fucking reasonable. They can't force him to go get vaccinated. I actually said, are they going to make you get vaccinated or request that you get vaccinated? And they said, well, they've actually said that it's illegal because our agreement. So again, you need to understand the law. Fair Work, which is the work industrial relations body here, okay, did a ruling which is it depends on your award and your EBA and that you generally can't force fucking employers to have vaccines. Okay, it's been ruled unlawful. But you wouldn't have these, like anybody who's giving you like journalism would be reporting the other stuff. Okay, not one side and one cherry-picked bit, okay? And that's the thing that pisses me off about this is the cherry-picking. But it's just so over the top and hyperbolic. Now, look at this video in the context of the fact that they've just said that this looks like Nazi Germany and 1984, and they're all-powerful authoritarian fascists, okay? Think of all of the fucking leaders that you ever saw and their speeches and their like yelling and charisma, and contrast it to Victorian Premier.
No removal of masks to consume alcohol outdoors. So you will no longer be able to remove your mask to drink a cocktail at a pop-up beer garden on a footpath as part of a pub crawl.
So how does that work? How are you supposed to drink?
It's so fucking ridiculous when you think about it. You go, oh, yes, fascists. Yeah, that's our fascists, everyone.
I don't understand. I wish they would have some more clarification. They say that in South Wales, police made it clear that if people are going to go out for fresh air and breach
I'm doing this stream mostly for
anywhere in the state, you will be
so
caught.
Like the toilet paper thing.
Time is over for warnings and cautions.
So we can look back on it and go, remember when everyone lost their
Morning,
fucking
everyone.
mind?
579 infringement
Head of the
notices
police
issued
force.
in the last 24 hours.
Very scary fella.
A large number, but it's
This
just
is the worst
reflective
Australia's got.
of Commissioner Fuller's commitment to
Shooting
policing
dogs,
and
everyone.
compliance around the public health orders. The message, if it's not
I'm not
already
saying it's a
there,
good
people
thing that
must
dogs were
really
shot. I'm
start
saying it's
to,
part of a
to
story.
understand and take heed that if you are going to breach public health orders anywhere in this state, you will be caught.
The public-
The time is over in terms of warnings and cautions. Policing will continue at this level, not just tomorrow, not just this week, but over the next 21 days when we have police rostered to perform the Operation Stay at Home, and we'll continue to do that right across the state, reassessing every single day at the Police Operations Centre and matching our activity to where the police should be. A couple of incidents of note. Our welfare and compliance teams, Australian Defence Force and New South Wales Police working together on the back of contact tracing information, went to a home in southwest Sydney yesterday morning and
Just
found
quickly,
a person.
with the word compliance, right? That has multiple meanings. And the problem with a lot of this stuff is that they're actually using it correctly, which is that it's not just about compliance from citizens, but it's about compliance by the government in terms of civil rights and all of that sort of stuff. So when they're talking about compliance, they're talking about all of those balancing act. And so what you see is America fucking go off on its fucking tangent, as they do in their little fucking death cult, where they changed all the words on us. It's like, well, that has a specific meaning especially in public service, which is compliance with all of the legal frameworks and rights and all of those balancing things and policy. Okay. That's what it means. It's not just making people comply. Don't be dumb. Take the time to learn what words mean and what people mean when they say the words. Don't just assume. Fuck.
Person that should be there
I'm a
wasn't
galah.
there.
Ah!
A number of and not that long after, that person returned to the front of the house in a motor vehicle. That person was spoken to by police and ADF, was issued a penalty infringement notice, stated that he'd hopped in his car and went out for some fresh air and hadn't been anywhere else. But the point is that if you are going to behave like this, yesterday over 2,300 houses visited. If you're going to behave like this, if you're going to step outside the health orders, you will be checked on and you will get an infringement notice, and that person will continue to be checked on and make sure that they comply.
Yeah,
So in
so they
Australia,
take that out of
if
context,
you
right?
go out for fresh air, you were in violation of.
Now get a load of this guy. He doesn't know anything about us. He calls it the NSW police force for a start. New South Wales. Look it up. Okay? Again, I know this is not amazing. This is a fucking disinformation, fucking far-right news channel. But it's just such an extreme example of the bullshit that we're seeing. And it's just fucking, you can't even make this shit up. You can't do satire that is as good as this shit. But NSW police force, everybody. Don't even fucking, it's just, anyway.
Of the health order.
But what they did was they took that clip and they misrepresented what he was saying. An infringement notice is just, a misdemeanor. It's a fine, okay? Pay the fine. We get fined for not voting. We get fined for fucking all sorts of things because that's just providing some sort of extrinsic motivation or to operate and make decisions that are good for you, okay? That's called governing and leading and persuading, okay? Not just shooting at cans and hoping that fucking works. Ding, ding. You're in no position to criticize us, America. Fuck.
And you will be punished. It's gotten so bad, police in Australia have even resorted to just flat out assaulting people who are not wearing masks, even if they're children. Watch.
Yeah, now I don't want to show this because I don't know if it's bullshit, okay? Now, I don't know the situation. I didn't have time to check. I just assumed that there's two sides to the story. I think we can assume at the moment that if a cell phone video is leaked, okay, and there's part of the story missing, okay, that it's coming from someone or some disinformation place, or they've taken it and it's being shared with a bunch of bullshit. I don't know. I haven't had time to look at what actually happened. Okay. But fucking hell. Like, but this was funny because they played the whole thing in its entirety. Of course they did. Just some shocking thing, which I don't even think yeah. So I feel bad because if this guy really believes this, then I feel bad for his can't be mentally healthy.
Can't even watch.
Unauthorized protest
watch this
activities.
anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
We did a report
Ordinarily,
just
you
the other
have the
day.
freedom to assemble. Again,
Locally,
I have issue with this.
A man
Yes.
not wearing a mask at a
You're blowing it out of
public
proportion.
public school
Because our government
board meeting
we have public trust.
was
generally
arrested.
speaking. Okay.
A
Our
disabled
social
man arrested
contract
for not
is
wearing a
somewhat
mask.
intact. That's what
Now
America
they're pepper
doesn't
spraying 12-year-old
understand,
girls in
because
Australia.
They have purely individualist.
Australia's fallen.
Ugh,
There's no question.
Australia's fallen, everybody.
And get this here. This is also from Australia. People not allowed to protest these measures, according to the NSW police force. Police are aware of
NSW
unauthorized
police force.
protest activities planned for this weekend. Do not attend. Public safety is our first priority, and you will be fined or
Unauthorized.
arrested
Yeah, it means
if you turn
just
up.
against restrictions.
If you simply show up,
public health emergency.
you will be arrested. Australia
insane.
turning into
Absolutely insane.
a prison colony once again. If you think that there's no way this will come to America, think
Prison.
again,
No,
because it's already
quarantine.
here.
It's
Comment
not
below. We'll
Orwellian.
see you at the next report
It's
for the next
fucking
News
common
Network.
sense.
I'm Gary Franchi.
It's hanging around for.
Thank you for watching that report.
Yeah.
Our confidence levels, feelings of self-worth, and
This
a
made
daily
me
frame of
laugh.
mind is directly tied
Here
to
you go.
our appearance. The solution I've found goes beneath
Time for
the
a sponsor.
surface to promote skin elasticity and the overall appearance of my skin. It's called ageless multi-collagen. Now, collagen works better at reducing the appearance of my
Again, I'm not having a go at anyone for having sponsored
because
content.
it
I don't
supercharges
have
my
any.
collagen intake.
So, I'm
And
just
by
saying,
using
right.
collagen,
There's no
as the
easy
main
way to
ingredient,
introduce
this
it.
product gets to the
The
heart of
segue
the
was
problem.
just funny.
Collagen is the #1 protein
Anyway.
in our skin, and it's needed to promote
Right.
elasticity.
So we watched the. Hang
and
on.
it
Let me go.
see you at the next
Where are we? Oh no, we finished that. All right, now I just want to show one more thing, which is this chick. This is the authoritarian Victorian government picking on children. Everybody, I mean, can't have that. That would be wrong, right?
Media.
Feel free to make a GIF or a meme of something I'm saying, but my message to everyone in that youth group is please don't catch up to.
Goodness me! She's asked them to give or meme. Fuck. Yep, we've fallen. Fallen for the lolcat. Lolcat? What is this, fucking 2003? Jesus Christ, Dave. Dating yourself much. Anyway, I just want to show you some stats. Let's just square this off, shall we? The people who are saying that Australia has fallen, are they referring to the COVID death graphs? Maybe. I don't think so. Do you? Let's have a look. Look. Check this out. United States of America, everybody. Projection. Per 100,000, okay? Deaths. Is that deaths? Yep. Cumulative deaths. Okay, there we go. Projected to rise and rise and rise. And this is not like popular. This is not, oh, Australia has fewer people. This is, remember, per 100,000. Proportion of per 100,000. So that's how you, standardize this stuff, right? December 2020. Off the bat. Rising. UK. Higher. Rising. Australia. Fucking flat. Down here. Look at these numbers. Go fuck yourselves. Fucking worry more. Do you know, if America worried more about their own shit, everyone would be better off. Daily deaths. United States, okay? Look at that. Where's Australia? Oh, look. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Look. Oh, shit, shit, shit. Oh my God, look. Look at that. It's terrible. Look at that. America. Spike. Yeah, I mean, that's a projected figure. Okay. Oh, no, that's today. Sorry, my mistake. Look. UK. To their credit. Okay? Peak. Sorted. Okay? Dealing with new shit. Ongoing, lingering shit. Vaccine coverage, okay? Our authoritarian government that makes us do vaccines and shit. Americans got higher vaccination rate percent, right? Look at us. Look at us go. Look at us go. Look how low. Look. Okay. Hospital resource use. Look. Oh, no, that's not. Sorry, there's no compare there. Where did I compare? Oh, here we go. Mask use. Okay, United States. Down. Okay. Australia's always been low. No mask use. Our totalitarian fascist government that makes us not wear masks. Our mask use went up. COVID went down. Well, sorry, no, my mistake. Mask use went up. Actually, that's bad figure. My mistake. There's no correlation there. I'm saying, right? This is our fascist government making us wear masks all the time, but we didn't have any COVID, so we didn't really need to. But as things got worse, the Delta variant and stuff, people started because they went, okay, it's necessary. Social contract. We understand that this is important, people. Not going to fucking like it. I'm going to moan about it the whole time like I do. Or not leave the house like I do. But fucking hell, people. UK. Okay? Lowest amount of mask use is the United States. Okay? Right now. Okay? Wonder if that's related to the fact that you're still fucking dying and dropping like flies. You fucking dumb fucks. Social distancing. I didn't compare that either. Jesus Christ, people. Now, I'm not going to talk about COVID anymore because it's just something that lingers in the background and it's ridiculous. I don't like talking about it because it's just how you get the band hammer these days. Hopefully this is some sanity for you lot. And someone needs it to hear it from an Aussie that you're all fucking nuts and you're all being fuckwits. But I did manage to wrangle a copy of our Constitution yesterday. It's the Reader's Digest guide, easy guide to your rights. Our government made us burn them, and I just managed to get in and rescue it beforehand. Okay, it's really it's from 1999, so it's a new country and shit. But look, where are we? See, look, tells you about all your rights, your contents, marriage and family, your job, your money, your health care, your home and community, right? Renting a house or unit, your car, your consumer rights, your rights in action. And that's why it says prevention is the best cure. Fuck me. Where is it? 350. Let's look at this thing. Okay, I found it at the op shop yesterday. Got it for $3 at Vinnie's. I was like, this is a corker. I'm gonna refer to this. Where are we? 350. Dumb fucks, it's not the Constitution. Okay? Oh my God. Anyway, I could read this book, got distracted. Fucking hell. I don't know if anyone's watching now, but anyway. Oh yeah, there's a few people here. Okay. Anyway, I hope the sound's okay. I'll watch it back and check the sound and tweak it for tomorrow. I've got to go because I've got to do some stuff, but this was an impromptu, unplanned thing. Not that it's any different from my fucking planned ones because I'd shit the bed anyway. But fucking hell, people. Stop reading stupid shit. Start listening to people who actually know how government works, not just based on what you think happens. And Americans, fuck off. Okay? I posted on Facebook last night. I was like, I tweeted last night. I was like, AOL was a mistake. And then I tweeted another thing was like, petition to join the Chinese firewall, please. I'm sick of Americans being stupid. But the UK is not far behind at the moment. Jesus Christ. I expect better of the UK. Why are you being dumb fucks? Because you're consuming too much American press, I'm guessing. Leave Australia alone. And I'm not going to point out that maybe starting shit with Australia might be a warning shot because of our close relationship with China. And I'm saying that maybe, just maybe, this might be, at a geopolitical level, an attempt to make Australia pick a fucking side. You want to know what a real fucking conspiracy is? Geopolitics and how it fucking works and how it's most likely to work. And given that the United States are fucking looking for wars and they want to have a fucking go at China, why would they not try to undermine our fucking good relationship with them? Or try to make us, like they're doing this. See, the thing that scares me the most about this, now, I know we had a laugh and I know that I ranted and I know this is long, but the thing that concerns me the most about this is that this is the same fucking move that they pull on Venezuela and that they've pulled in South America and that they pulled in Cuba, okay? They pull in Vietnam, all these places, okay? They pick out a country with resources, remember? We're a mining country. Rich in fucking resources. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm saying it's fucking happened before and there's no, pay attention to the real shit. I don't know why you're looking at the bullshit when there's a perfectly fucking good explanation that's scary, which is that there's probably some sort of fucking power move on the world stage to come after our shit. Pick on the fucking, the 8th wealthiest nation in the world because no one gets the others, let's just pick on us. Because God forbid we fucking straddle relationships with both sides. You can't tell me that that's not at least a little bit of a threat. What feels more fucking true? That Australia's fucking descending into a dictatorship, or there is a narrative at play here? Read manufacturing consent. Look at fucking history. Look at Venezuela. Look at those places. I'm not saying we're a socialist utopia. I am saying that we are of strategic fucking benefit. And that worries me. That's what you should be worried about. That's what I'm worried about. Is that America's going to make us fucking pick a side and we're going to pick the wrong fucking side. Or, if we do, or refuse to, because again, we don't know what happens, diplomatically. We don't know what conversations are happening. We don't know how close to the brink of, how close to war we are with China, okay? Or not we. I'm fucking pacifist. I'm saying countries. We don't know how fucking close this is. I assume it is, based on history. I'm not trying to scare anybody or fearmonger. I'm just saying this is the evidence suggests, and past behaviour, okay, would inform us. If you're paying attention to the right things and not sharing fucking bullshit propaganda that makes Australia look like what the fuck? What if Australia ever refused to take a side in this whole fucking diplomatic shit with China? And now they've threatened us. Okay? You don't know. Does that sound more fucking likely? Or to a bunch of Aussies who fucking aren't worried about things and chill as fuck and like the sunshine and beaches and whatever, have 10% of fuckwits that have got scrambled eggs for brains because they watch too much fucking television, mobilised to get the footage so that warning shots can be fired so America gets what it wants. What do you fucking think? Anyway, pretty sure that's killed my stream. But I'm just saying, like, fucking hell. I don't know why people like Marvel movies and fucking bullshit and lies. The truth's way more interesting. Anyway, so I'm going to go. I love you. If you want to become a patron, that stuff, okay. I want to become a patron, you can. Patreon.com. I'm bad at that shit. Stuff's there. You'll be able to authenticate with Patreon on my website when I've got my members only area. I'll be doing some courses and stuff. Because I have quit tech, I've decided that I should at least put my IP and experience and shit into something that, like, you know, has value rather than, you know, whatever. But if you want to support me, you can. I like it. It's good. I'm doing this full time now. I'm poor. I love you. Thank you for your precious life seconds. Please stay sane. Okay. And do share my shit. Also, I found out that I get credit for all of the watch hours. If you download the YouTube video in your YouTube app, it gives you the instant credit for, like, the watch time and counts as, like, and if you're a premium member, that means then I get paid more. That's what I found out. But I don't know. Whatever. Do whatever you can to help me. I appreciate it. I'm also on Rumble as well. So I'll talk about Rumble in a new video. Anyway, getting my muscles back. I'm back at the gym. I love you. I give you precious life seconds. Okay. Also, because everyone's lost their minds, I don't see notifications from anyone I don't follow anymore. If I have accidentally unfollowed you, or you'd like me to follow you and you're not being a fuckwit, and whatever, okay, just let me know. Send me an email or something via the website or whatever, and I will make sure I follow you back, or, you know, put you on a list, like, or whatever, so that I don't miss your stuff. Because yeah. It's it can, yeah. Twitter's just, it's gone to garbage. And when you feel everyone's pain and you see all this mental illness and you see everyone freaking out, it starts to affect yours. And I feel like my job is to actually just stay fucking sane and keep saying sane things. And that's my contribution and how I can get people through, which is to just speak some truth and some sanity and think things through and, you know, challenge these things, because it's not good. It's not good for you. It's not healthy. I'm watching, I was saying this to a friend, actually. I think those people who've had harder lives, like have had adversity, like a lot of adversity, it's almost like our time to shine. I'm seeing people who haven't had it so difficult, all the people that are all together and they did all the right things and they had a very, like, blessed life and they're successful and stuff. I'm watching them all unravel because they haven't really had to deal. Like, it was for me. I actually said this last week, so I'm surprised I haven't cracked yet, but I haven't. I'm fine because I'm used to this. I know, and Paul's the same, which is that because I think we're both entrepreneurial and stuff, we're sort of used to the ups and downs, and, you know, and we've been through divorce and we've gone through stuff and health problems, and, you know, so this is just another thing. And you go, well, you always deal with it and you deal with it as it comes. And so I feel like my job is to maybe evangelize sanity. If that's okay with you, I'm more than happy to be somebody. I was thinking of doing a quick counseling course, so I'm at least a certified counselor, so that at least then if I can, I mean, it's going to take me a long time to be a psychologist, but, you know, I can at least help out. I can help, but I can, if you need to talk to somebody, okay, I'm around. I've made it my mission to be there for people when they need, you know, like, I think that's what we need. Make people laugh. You know, I didn't make the decision to do comedy lightly or this stuff lightly. I think I actually just go where I'm needed, and I think this is where we're needed. Not to be up myself, I'm just saying we need someone to talk to and someone to just fucking say what we're thinking and push back against bullshit and stuff. So I'm happy to be that person as long as it lasts. And if I can help in any way, like my network or, you know, anything. You know, I'm bad at replying to messages sometimes because I'm ADD, of course, but, you know, I'm pretty good at, you know, when you say I need attention now, I will. Okay. So I love you. Thanks for watching. Thank you for your precious life seconds. Recommend me to bigger fucking podcast people. Not people, obviously, I realize that there's a fucking, that American podcasts are a waste of time because they're only going with this one narrative, okay? Trust me, they follow me, they ignore my shit. But in Australia, and especially comedy podcasts and comedians and people like that, I'd love to do more speaking and get a bit more like structure. Like, I'm a better guest than I am an interviewer. I'm not very good at interviewing, but it's a skill that I need to get better at. But we'll get there. You're with me on the way. And this is me pushing through my own discomfort so that I can maybe model that for everybody else. I love you. Thank you for your precious life seconds. Let me see. Look, I've got a soundboard. Did that play? No. Oh yeah, it did. Here we go. It's a bit slow, isn't it? This one's better. Anyway, hang on, I've got, where's that? Canned laughter. I'm still, like, again, I'm dealing with like cheap lights. You have no idea how much fucking sticky tape is holding this shit together at the moment. I'm using like lamps and like cheap LED smart lights, and like the only good things that I've invested in is the mixer microphone, which I've had for years from music, and my camera. So like the lighting situation does my fucking head in. Someone suggested I should set up an Amazon wish list or something. Maybe I should do that, but I don't like Amazon. But whatever. Maybe I should. Anyway, set up. I'm gonna go. Love you. Take care. Bye. 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 No. Hang on. I've also got this. 1 second. Look, I need to show you this. Dolly Parton. And this, of course. Anyway, love you. Bye.